Back here at Joe and Graff Field in Tallahassee, Florida, getting ready for Jack State and UCF. Day one of the Tallahassee Regional. Capital One starting lineup for the Gamecocks at Jacksonville State. Emma Elrod is Conference USA Player of the Year. She's in the leadoff spot. Morgan Nowakowski was absolutely outstanding in the Conference USA tournament. 7 for 11 with a homer. She drove in 8. She'll bat in the 2-hole. And there you see the rest of the Gamecocks. Reagan Vokoun is going to be the starter today for UCF. Maybe a little bit of a surprise that Cindy Ball Malone is going to start a freshman in the circle. The lefty from Lincoln, Nebraska is going to get the game one nod.
Yeah, and you look at the volume over the season for the freshman Vokoun, and it doesn't jump off the page, 28 in the third innings pitch, but talking to Coach Ball Malone, Coach Bear as they call her yesterday, she said the stuff matches up really well. The number, or the thing I circle here is the 26 free passes in 28 innings. That's a number that Vokoun's going to try to work with. And she's got the stuff. 51 to 62, she has an elite 5-pitch mix. She's going to work north to south and from the left side. She's got the advantage against the lefties of this Jack State offense.
Both of these programs, year 3 in new conferences. Jack State, year number 3 in Conference USA. UCF in the Big 12 for the 3rd year. And they both adjusted really well with the programs. And you think about Jack State specifically, Julie Boland, the job she has done after Gamecocks legend Jana McGinnis retired after 31 years, took over last season, and now in her 2nd year has them in the national tournament.
Absolutely incredible. And she talked yesterday to us about the rich history. Her 30th year with this program, was a player, was an assistant, and now the head coach. And maybe the best spot for her because a record-breaking year, and now in the NCAA tournament for the Gamecocks.
As you mentioned, she is affectionately known as Coach Bear. Cindy Ball Malone, year number 8 now with the Knights. 6 consecutive NCAA tournaments, and that includes a super regional back in 2022. She's done a lot of great things.
She certainly has. When she stepped onto campus in Orlando, from day one, this program has exploded. And they've been a regional mainstay for the last handful of years. 7 seasons with 30-plus wins. So hard to do. And Coach Bear, so much fun to talk to yesterday as well, picking her brain about her approach as this team evolves.
So we're ready to go, and the first pitch is just off the plate for ball 1 to Emma Elrod. Player of the Year in Conference USA. Hit .408 against Conference USA pitching this year. Oh, and she takes one off the shoulder. Not a good start for the freshman Vokoun.
Yeah, I got to imagine there's a bit of nerves, I'm sure, for the freshman Vokoun, and I think she has to establish the curveball in the inner half to these righties. That one just gets a little bit loose, and the Elrod will certainly take the free pass. Bruises or temporary clay on base percentage is forever.
That's right. Well, Emma Elrod is somebody you got to watch, too, on the bases. 10 stolen bags on the year. That's a team high for Jack State. And now Nowakowski riding the heater. She was so good at the conference tournament. And she said she had tears of joy after the win over Liberty in the title game. Many of the players did. They beat Liberty 7-4 in the championship in Newark, Delaware. Avenging a run rule loss to Liberty in last year's conference championship game. So you know that felt good.
Absolutely. And I think even Nowakowski said to us yesterday, I was going there for Liberty. I mean, just said it straight up. I wanted to beat them. And the double elimination bracket in Conference USA and then the championship game being single elimination, the roles were reversed this year with Jack State taking that championship single elimination game from Liberty from behind.
2-1. That almost hit it. So Vokoun with some big misses here And you can see the infield's coming in. They want to reset with the freshman, and already a visit to the circle for Coach Bear. She also handles all the pitchers.
Absolutely, and she's one of the best pitching minds, pitching coaches in the country. And just a moment to let the freshman breathe and to remind her, hey, your best is better. And talking to her yesterday, she mentioned that Reagan was going to get some opportunities because she felt like the stuff was good enough. She's got the right matchup for this team. And just a moment to breathe, to relax. The first NCAA tournament appearance for number 5, and likely some jitters. Sometimes the first inning is the most difficult for pitchers.
Reagan's mom, who was known as Corey Sampson at the time, went to the Women's College World Series with Princeton back in 1996, 30 years ago. We're now watching her daughter pitch in the NCAA tournament. Walked her just a little bit up. And so Nowakowski's aboard, a hit by pitch and a walk. And the 3-hole hitter Amber Reed will come up with a chance for Jacksonville State to do some damage here right away in the first inning. Amber Reed got out to a slow start this season, was hitting under 200 well into March. Then she caught fire, had a 32-game on-base streak at one point. She was named to the Conference USA All-Tournament team, drove in 2 in the championship game. And now time is called again, and Cindy Ball Malone is already out to talk with the home plate umpire, Chris Neighbors. It looks like she's going to make an adjustment here.
Yeah, 8 pitches, and only 1 strike, and you can't let this one get too far away early in this ball game. You got to credit Jack State. They're not going to chase. One of the best in the country at taking the free pass, but Coach Bear not going to let this one get too out of hand, and we may see the freshman Vokoun come back.
Well, they're going to go to a new arm, and it's Tori Payne. Pitching change in Tallahassee here in the first. Well, as it happens, Tori Payne is also a freshman. And Cindy Ball Malone is going to bring in one rookie to replace another 15th appearance on the season for Payne.
And the numbers are solid, and 3-0 on the year, 2.47 ERA, so one of the best, honestly, below or higher than average, better than average in the country. The number you circle, though, is the 22 free passes, and that's the key here. She's got all the tools, she's got the speed, she's got the velocity. It's can she command the zone early and let the defense work? You know, as a head coach, you want to give your freshmen opportunities to build that experience, let them fail forward. But in a game like this, and a moment like this, you can't let a team get too many free opportunities, in which case the offense can't make a comeback. But we talked about UCF having one of the best offenses in the Big 12, and I think Coach Bear has a ton of confidence in the Knights.
So after 8 pitches from Vokoun, they go to Payne, and Payne will pitch to Amber Reed here, and she misses outside. The ace for UCF is Isa Vega. She did not get the start here in the first game of the tournament. 2-0 pitch. Fly ball down the line and slicing foul. Amber Reed said had a big game against Liberty in the conference championship. Drove in a couple, has a chance to drive in some runs here in the first inning for Jack State. The Gamecocks have 2 on and nobody out. Ground ball to short, could be 2. Evans to Humphreys, and that's all they're going to get. There's a really good middle infield, Aubrey Evans and Cece Humphreys. They'll settle for 1. As Elrod goes to third, and Reed is safe at first on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, Aubrey Evans, so solid, and I love the decision by Cece Humphreys to fake the throw. See if you can get Elrod creeping off of third base there, but first and third situation, Jack State with a ton of speed, the ability to take advantage, get second and third. We'll see how they play it in the first.
One out for Kaylee Martin. Hacks at the first pitch. Martin has 9 homers out of the cleanup spot, a sophomore from Marietta, Georgia. Second team All-Conference USA. Good numbers across the board. And now Torrey Payne calls time. Called out of the bullpen 9 pitches into this ballgame. In on the hands, and Payne gets to it. Big out for the freshman Torrey Payne as she retires the cleanup hitter Martin.
Yeah, huge out. I mean, not only to execute a pitch in on the hands of a powerful hitter in Martin, but also to play her position well. This would be a big momentum shift for the Knights if they're able to get out of this inning without damage.
So 2 outs for Aria Davis. The Gamecocks shortstop. Exciting sophomore, has been a starter ever since stepping on campus at Jack State before last season. One ball and 1 strike to Davis. Now 1 and 2. Boy, if Torrey Payne can come in and slam the door here and keep Jack State off the board, what an emotional lift that will be for the Knights before they even swing the bats for the first time.
Absolutely, and I think it just gives jet fuel to the freshman in the circle.
Ooh, that just missed off the plate.
And so far, Payne, the command is there. Goes in. I thought actually she got a little bit in on the river for a strike call there. That's a great pitch. A good pitcher's pitch with 2 strikes. The Knights fans certainly wanted it, but it runs 2-2.
Goes to the same spot. It's sprayed foul. Chris Neighbors is their home plate umpire. And it appears that the strike zone is going to be a little bit tight. You know, especially for freshmen. You know, we saw Vokoun have a hard time, landing strikes early. Now, Torrey Payne doesn't get that strike call, but still just 1 pitch away from getting out of a tough jam for UCF here in the first inning. This is high, full count. And McKaylin Kaiser, the catcher, on deck.
And Amber Reed at first base will be released on the pitch. 3-2 out, so she'll be stealing. If this ball gets in the gap, Reed, good chance to score.
Payoff pitch. Torrey Payne works around trouble in the first. Jack State leaves 2 on. UCF coming up for the first time. Clay Matvick and former Duke captain Rain Wilson here in Tallahassee, opening round of the Tallahassee Regional. Maybe a missed opportunity there for Jack State. Had 2 on, nobody out in the top of the first, but come up empty. And now UCF's first plate appearance of the weekend. Here's the Capital One lineup for the Knights. And the leadoff hitter is the shortstop Aubrey Evans. Kendall Yarnell, very good designated player in the 2 spot, a .781 slugging percentage, best on the team by 4. And they're going to be facing McKenna Moore, rookie with a devastating rise ball, the Conference USA freshman and pitcher of the year.
Yeah, McKenna Moore has come in and been nearly lights out through conference play. The rise ball, to your point, above average, and the numbers speak for themselves. Taking on a ton of workload, but has matched that workload with execution, 130 innings pitched, and she's got all the tools. We talk about the elite movement up, but her key is to attack early, then expand the zone. When these UCF hitters get in hitters counts, high leverage counts, they can sit a speed, they can sit a spot. So now 2-0 with Aubrey Evans, you're on your heels defensively, so something McKenna Moore will want to shore up.
The senior from Apopka, Florida, has been an excellent table setter. She has a 3-0 count, leads the squad with 54 runs scored on top of those great numbers. Has been the primary leadoff hitter over the last month. And finally landing a strike is McKenna Moore. It's a scary veteran team, and Evans, a fourth-year senior and one of many seniors, provided leadership, and she draws a walk to start the day for the Knights.
Yeah, you said it, Clay. I mean, she's a leader. Yesterday, when talking to her, Cece Humphreys, Issa Vega, and Coach Bear, when we'd ask a question, all of them would look to her. Yep. And I think it just speaks to what she has meant to this program. And on the other side of things, you got a freshman who's getting her nerves out, her jitters out. Advantage senior in that situation as Evans finds her way on.
Here's Kendall Yarnell, who we talked about. Sophomore from Olathe, Kansas. And man, this has a lot of similarities to what we saw in the first inning for UCF. They need a reset with their freshman starter already as Olivia Gray, the pitching coach, comes out to calm down more.
Yeah, and it certainly is just a moment. And for these pitching coaches and coaches in general, sometimes you go out for a physical cue. Sometimes you go out to make the player laugh. Sometimes you go out to make the player feel a little fired up. And you can see in this team and how they played all year, it is player-led. And you can see even after the coach walks off the field, there's conversations amongst her teammates just to give her a chance to reset against this Knights offense.
Yarnell, 14 bombs on the year, one of 5 players in the lineup, double-digit homers. And that's the first time that's happened in UCF history, having that many players with 10 or more homers.
And when it comes to postseason, that's so critical because you're going to face elite arms. And so if you can make do and make your swings really count with the long ball, I think advantage goes into your dugout.
It's upstairs, 2-1. It's been a breakout year for Yarnell, trying to continue that. She's had a lot of big hits this year, looking for one in the first inning. Big cut popped up behind home plate. Mask is off, but not enough room for Kaiser, the catcher. 38 overall wins for UCF. They finished 4th in the Big 12, best finish since joining the league in 2024. Stumbled down the stretch, though. Lost 5 of their last 8 games. As Yarnell reaches for that one and can't hit it. For a strikeout for McKenna Moore.
And here's the elite movement from the freshman. Attacks, 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 and lets that rise ball work away from the barrel of Yarnell. Yarnell, the sophomore, trying to fight that one off, but McKenna Moore, movement, velocity, too much. First punch out of the day for the freshman.
It's in the dirt to Beth Damon, who's behind the plate today for UCF, leading the team with 15 homers. That's the most in a single season at UCF since Jada Cody hit that many in 2022. Getting back to how UCF came into this tournament, though, Rain, they got knocked out of the Big 12 championship in the first round by Kansas back on May 7th. So they're the only team in this regional coming off a loss.
Yeah.
And lost 5 of their last 8. they're a hungry bunch. They want to get back on the winning track.
Mm-hmm. And that loss, they had a lead. I mean, they came out hot, had a couple key hits, clutch hits early in that game. And then Kansas, which is a great ball club, great offense, chipped away, and found their way back into the ball game. And it was really a deflating loss for this UCF team. But when we talked to them yesterday, not a lot of time to dwell, because as soon as they got back into Orlando, it was practice time. And boy, did they practice hard.
Strike. Throw skips into center field. Safe at second base is Aubrey Evans. You and I talked to Aubrey yesterday. She's a spark plug.
Yeah, she certainly is, and she does it on both sides of the ball. There we see the wheels on display for Evans. A leader both emotionally and on the field. Kaiser unable to get her.
3-2 pitch. Another one foul. Off the bat of Beth Damon. Damon started the year hitting in the 7-hole. Now a fixture in the heart of the order. Chance to give UCF the lead. Runner at second. One out. Ground ball left side. Pulled foul out center third. Thirteenth NCAA tournament for UCF. 6th in a row. 4th time in the last 6 years here in Tallahassee for a regional. Walked her. Second walk of the inning. Given up by McKenna Moore, so 2 on, 1 out, and Izzy Murtis will come up.
Gosh, and I think this is where you see and why you see the program record in offense, and it's not just the long ball. We've seen that from this group, but also the ability to take the free pass, the plate discipline, 1 through 9.
Strike. Murtis, good numbers, which includes a team-high 16 doubles, 321, 11 homers, 52 runs batted in. Sophomore out of Chatsworth, California. What you don't see on the screen there is what she does in the weight room. Popped up. Nowakowski coming in from center will make the catch. The teammates of Murtis were bragging about how she squats over 300 pounds in the weight room. She comes up empty there on the fly ball to center for the second out, but we're going to see her again for sure.
Well, Clay, I had an idea. Maybe you and I put 300 pounds on her back and see what it looks like if we try to hold the barbell up.
No. Too old for that. Now McKenna Moore starting to dial in. Starts CeCe Humphreys with a strike. Sierra Humphreys, the second baseman. First team all Big 12. She has a team-high 56 runs batted in. And that's why Coach Bear likes her at the 5-hole. She's been just about everywhere in the lineup, including leadoff, but she's been more productive in this spot.
Yeah, and talking to Coach Bear, one comment that I circled that I loved was, she used to recruit athletes, maybe 2 or 3 athletes that made up what CeCe brings to this team. But now CeCe is a 5-tool player, and you look at her first couple of seasons, great numbers, but has only gotten better year over year. She brings great defense, great power, great leadership. I mean, she is a true weapon for this team.
Ooh, look out. Right around the chin, 1 and 2 to Humphreys. One of the top freshman pitchers in the country trying to work around 2 walks here in the first inning. McKenna Moore rocks and fires, swung on and missed. And Moore will work out of a jam. Tori Payne did it. for UCF in the first inning. And how about McKenna Moore getting a big strike out of Humphreys? We go to the second, scoreless here in Tallahassee. Sometimes revenge works in your favor, and that's what Jack State got on Liberty after losing to the Flames in last year's conference championship game. And they came back from 4 down, scored 7 unanswered to win this year's title.
Super cool to hear them talk about that, too, because in 2025, they actually beat Liberty in the double elimination part of that tournament and then lost in the single elimination. Roles reversed this year. And talking to Julie Bolden, head coach, who you see there on the left of your screen, she was like, hey, we knew the tournament format last year. We knew it this year. We wanted that revenge, but we're focused on us. And remember, that Liberty team last year upset the #1 team in the country in Texas A&M. So there is some serious talent coming out of Conference USA.
Here's Julie Bolden. She bleeds red and white. She was an all-conference player at Jack State, an assistant for 23 years, now leading this program. And Michaela Kaiser, her catcher, leads it off in the second inning. 6, 7, and 8. Kaiser, Phillips, and Underwood due up for the Gamecocks. Tori Payne starting this inning in the circle. She came in relief in the first after the freshman Reagan Bokun threw just 8 pitches, and only 1 was a strike. So she got the early hook from Cindy Ball Malone, the head coach. Kaiser, good numbers, 295, 10 homers, 51 runs batted in. She has been such a great leader for Jack State. Pitches inside. We'll see if she has green light here. You would think so. She leads the team in homers and runs batted in.
Yeah, I think so. I think you pick a side of the plate, you pick a zone, and you uncork. Just make sure you're on time and get your best swing off.
She looks at strike 2.
And that's a good take. If you're Kaiser, not a pitch you can do a ton of damage with unless your body is set up to hit something up. Didn't look like Kaiser was set up for that there. Run 3-2.
Hit high, hit deep, carrying, goodbye, home run. One nothing Jack State. 11th home run of the year for Michaela Kaiser, the senior from Springville, Alabama.
The patience on 3-1 leads to a 3-2 pitch on the inner half that the senior does not miss. Knew it right away. This ball traveled far into Tallahassee. Jack State, early lead.
Just the second home run allowed by Tori Payne this year. And now the Gamecocks have the momentum in their dugout as Ashley Phillips hits for the first time today. Another senior.
Yeah, and that was not a bad pitch at all by Tori Payne. That was inner half, cornered up, knee high. You just got to credit Kaiser, and you look at these two offenses, and UCF has 5 players with 10-plus home runs. Kaiser the only one for Jack State with 10-plus.
Another veteran slugger here in Phillips, and it's interesting, Kaiser and Phillips 6 and 7 in the order with kind of numbers they have. You know, generally teams would put hitters like this 3, 4, 5 in the lineup, but that just says something about the depth of this Gamecocks order.
Well, and their ability to find different ways to score. You know, you look at this Jack State order, too. There are 5 players with 30-plus walks, and a walk is just as good as a single. And for UCF, they don't have 1 player with 30-plus walks, and so it's just 2 different offenses, and for Julie Boland, she knows how to put those pieces together. talking to her yesterday about her lineup, it's been sound all year long. They're comfortable, they're player-led, and they're confident.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Phillips, who's been the steady second baseman for Jack State all year. And Payne skips it into home plate. 3-2. Back-to-back 3-2 counts from Torrey Payne. We saw an upset in their first game here in Tallahassee. Stetson beat the number 9 national seed Florida State 8-3. Ground ball up the middle, shading over to her left. Evans throws across for the out.
Yeah,
Phillips is retired 1-1.
I was just going to say that the game earlier today, I think, speaks to the depth of this regional. And the NCAA likes to use RPI. There's DSR, there's KPIs, all that good stuff. But well, looking at RPI, this is one of the most competitive regionals in the country, if not the most. I'll have to check it. And I think you're seeing that right now. I mean, we are 1 1/3 innings in, and it is clear how evenly matched these teams are.
J.C. Underwood, sophomore third baseman from Hazelhurst, Georgia. Numbers aren't flashy for Underwood. 259, a homer, and 22 runs batted in. She was named to the Conference USA All-Tournament team last weekend. 5 for 12 with 6 runs scored.
And a lot of hitting coaches across the country, they might use batting average to inform some things, but ultimately they're looking at on-base percentage, and J.C. Underwood is a great example. 408 on-base percentage, and so finds ways on.
Off-speed pitch for a strike, 2-2. On top of that, just an outstanding defender. Jack State won the Conference USA regular season by 5 games. And another 3-2 count. Been a long inning for Torrey Payne. Walked her. First walk allowed by Torrey Payne. And now the number 9 hitter, Haley Cushingberry, will come up. Lefty bat at the bottom of the order here, who has had a pretty good career. Numbers down this year. Not a prototypical 9-hole hitter. Pretty dangerous, even though hitting .221. She had .313 as a freshman last year. And she's coming off a big conference tournament, hit .333 in the league championship. And was named to the Conference USA All-Tournament team.
You know, a lot of times when you see a freshman who has a great year and they have that, quote-unquote sophomore slump, it's typically about how teams have prepared exclusively for them. And at the same time, you know what they have in them. And so when they go on these runs, for Cushingberry, like, she has a great conference tournament. To me, if I'm head coach Julie Boland, like, that is an amazing sign, because you know she has the capabilities to be a 300 hitter for your team.
Outside, 3-0. And the leadoff hitter and Conference USA Player of the Year, Emma Elrod, due up next. Infield a double play depth. Ooh, strike inside. Cushenberry didn't like it. Looked back at home plate umpire Chris Neighbors. Not happy with that call.
And sometimes as a pitcher, when you miss your spot, you can get this reaction from the fans. I think that's a strike. I think if we had ABS, if she taps the helmet there, I think that's a good call by our home plate umpire. And still, as a pitcher, if you miss, sometimes you won't get that call. And as a catcher, you got to understand, too, if you're seeing misses over from both sides of the plate, set up more middle, and that way you don't show up the umpire by making that ball look like a ball.
5th straight full count. Michaela Kaiser led off the inning with a home run. Cushenberry just the 4th hitter to come up here in this inning, but it has been a long, laborious inning for Tori Payne. Jack State is just making her work. Again the 3-2. And again fouled off.
Yeah, when you look at the statistics for this Jack State offense, I mean, again, the numbers don't jump off the paper in terms of batting average. But you see it in real time when you watch them play, their ability to wear you down, to see pitches. And so that late in the game, that's when those hits show up, because they've seen everything you got in the kitchen sink.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat, struck her out. Tori Payne wins the battle with Haley Cushenberry. 2 away.
70-mile-per-hour cheddar. Arm side action, up and away, moving away from the barrel of the sophomore Cushenberry. And to me, what sets up that pitch, the ability to strike her out, is the off-speed right before. Slow you down to speed you up. Hard to defend both as a hitter. Freshman wins the battle.
Snap throw to first, diving back. It's Underwood. So Elrod was hit by a pitch to start the game.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they give the green light to Underwood at some point in this at-bat. Top of the lineup's up. She gets called out. At least you got the top lineup coming up next.
Slipped out of the hand of Payne. Emma Elrod, junior from Noonan, Georgia, a workout warrior, just addicted to hitting. She's always in the cage. And when you do that kind of practice and work and put in the time, you're going to be rewarded. You can see with her numbers this year, she has been. In on the hands, got jammed, and Aubrey Evans will make the catch to end the inning. But Jack State is playing from in front on day 1 of the Tallahassee Regional. Home run from Michaela Kaiser.
And it's the senior, her first NCAA tournament, first at-bat, first bomb. Jack State up 1.
There's an Aubrey Evans fan. Likely some relation, I'm guessing. Jacksonville State, 10th NCAA tournament appearance, but first since 2018. Happy to be back in the big dance. UCF, 6 straight years being here, and no stranger to Tallahassee for the Knights.
No, certainly not. And 4 times in the last 6 years, this UCF team has been in Tallahassee for a regional, seeding 32 teams this year, but the way things shook out, this was a spot.
Popped up, and it's going to get out of play. So, do you think that's a benefit for the Knights that many times coming to the same spot? Or does that work against you as far as emotional? It doesn't really give you inspiration. It's like, not again.
I think there's an element of both. And it depends, I think, on how as a team and how as a culture you approach it. It can be one or the other. It can be like, darn, I wish we would be going somewhere new. I wish I'd be experiencing something different. But at the same time, there is a benefit to familiarity. Hey, I played there before. I'm comfortable there. Hey, I know the K chant's coming. I know what it's like to play Florida State, and so I think this UCF Knights team, although maybe disappointed they're not going to UCLA or experiencing a new city, I think they're confident this weekend, and that's what we gathered yesterday from talking to Coach Barrett.
1-2 to Griffin. Now 2-2 to Ashley Griffin, the first baseman for the Knights. Hasn't missed a start this year. Been in the program a long time. She's played here in Tallahassee, so this is ground she has tread before. 2-2. Got her. McKenna Moore strikes out Griffin looking, and she knew it.
And this is the freshman's bread and butter. The arm side action in on the hands of a righty. Elite movement. And with high velocity upper 60s, freezes up Griffin. Third punch out of the day for the freshman Moore.
Coco Jaimez is the third baseman for the Knights. She was UCF's best hitter in the Austin Regional last year. Went 8 for 12. With a homer and 4 runs batted in, and she loves playing in this national tournament. Gets the first hit of the 2026 regional here in Tallahassee for the Knights.
Yeah, I love her approach at the plate, her hand-eye coordination, her ability to learn from what her teammates have seen and then go execute.
Time called. Kaiser has to adjust her equipment. As Zoe Calvez is ready to hit now for UCF. Speedy outfielder from Orlando. .319, no homers, 10 runs batted in for Calvez. Also has a team-high 10 stolen bases. Push bunt, and it rolls foul right past Underwood, who is drawn in. You know, as much as we've talked about the home run numbers for the Knights this year and the doubles and the slugging, they can do that to you as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is a versatile offense. We talk about their ability, like you said, to hit home runs, to score in that way. But then you've got this part of the order. Speedy, crafty. Will use the ground to their advantage. Will make defenses play. Jack State, one of the best defenses in the country. But still, with the nerves, with the speed and the pressure that you feel as a defense against hitters like Jaimez or Calvez, tough to do.
Sits off the plate, 2-2. Zoe Calvez, the UCF right fielder, hitting in the 8-hole tonight. Just missed. And it's a full count. Two for Moore. Strike called. Throw down to second. Got her. Strike him out. Throw him out. Double play to end the inning. So Moore faces the minimum in the second.
How about the senior doing it all? Great pitch by the freshman, and then a gun down by Kaiser. The home run hitter also has a cannon.
Rain Wilson, I tell you, Jack State, they've got the 14th best fielding percentage in the country at .976. Kaiser threw at that base runner with a foot or so to spare.
Yeah, and on a strike him out, throw him out, where you got to frame up a pitch for your pitcher. And Kaiser has done that all year. Against Alabama, she threw out 2 runners in Tuscaloosa. But, I mean, 1 through 9, this defense plays incredibly well. Teams hope for 970. This team at 976, one of the best in the country.
Now they'll go back to work on offense. Morgan Nowakowski, the redshirt senior from Huntsville, threw a walker first time up. What a delight she was to talk to yesterday. That one's foul off her back. She had a mini stroke her freshman year. You know, any stroke to me is not mini.
Yeah.
And she was 18 years old dealing with that health issue, had open heart surgery, and came back from it, only missed one season. And she says every day is a blessing, just happy to be playing again and enjoying life. And we are happy for her.
Yeah, it was really fun to talk to her and to kind of figure out what kind of player she was. She was like, I'm super emotional, I'm fiery, and when they got selected to come to Tallahassee, she said I was boo-hooing like a baby, and then it was so, so relaxed talking about this congenital heart disease that she had, that mini stroke.
Chopper over the top of the circle. Man, Cece Humphreys with a quick release. Get Nowakowski, who does not run slowly.
And to put a bow on Nowakowski and what she's meant to this team, too, she said, once my sternum healed up, I was good to go. I was ready to play softball again. So just, as soon as my sternum healed. But it just speaks to her toughness.
They would not be here without her, that's for sure. Her emotional leadership has been a big part of what has gotten Jack State to this point. So Amber Reed now facing Torrey Payne with one out. 1-0 Gamecocks. Leadoff homer by Kaiser in the second inning. The winner of this regional will take on whoever comes out of the Los Angeles regional next week. UCLA hosting there, and of course everybody's heard about the Bruins offense this season. Megan Grant, Jordan Woolery coming into the tournament, a combined 71 homers. Grant hit 38 during the regular year, breaking an NCAA single season record that stood for 31 years. Sprayed the other way, and that's going to get down for a hit for Amber Reed. 38 home runs, and Jordan Woolery, 33 home runs. If you hit 33 home runs in a year, you expect to lead your team. She did not, because Grant had 38. But what a home run year it's been for UCLA. And, of course, Grant breaking the all-time record.
Yeah, just remarkable. And even just looking at Megan Grant, Kendall Wells, the freshman record, of course, Carly Spade, Miami of Ohio. And you see the offenses have surged. Megan Grant, she has out-homered programs. I'd be curious if there's a conference out there that hasn't hit 38 home runs. I don't think so. But point being, most players across the country would be delighted to hit 30 in their career. One season for Grant, two-way player in terms of basketball and softball. What a year for her.
Laura Espinoza held that record for more than 3 decades, the former Arizona star. She probably thought that record was going to hold for a really long time. But the game has really changed in recent years. We're seeing a lot of big home run numbers now that we didn't used to.
That's right. And I think there's a lot of variables. Folks have talked about the strike zone. We've talked about the bats being hot, the balls being different. I think it's strength and conditioning as well. These young women are incredibly strong, and they are showing up to campus incredibly strong. There's an investment into food and nutrition. There's video of every pitcher. These machines can mimic and replicate every arm you're going to see in sequences as well. All of the advantages go to hitters now because you can go and hit off of a machine and it can replicate a Torrey Payne pitch or a McKenna Moore rise ball. And that way when you step in the box, you are prepared.
2-2 to Kaylee Martin, who's 0 for 1 with a pop-out. Payne's pitch, back up the middle. On the bag for one, double play. Aubrey Evans, the senior. Quick as a hiccup. Gets 2 to end the third. And we're going to talk to Julie Boland, Jack State's head coach, on the backside of this timeout. 1-0 Gamecocks. Jack State, the champions from Conference USA, leading UCF 1-0 as we go to the home half of the third. Here in the opening round of the Tallahassee Regional. Let's bring in Julie Boland, the second-year head coach at Jack State. Coach, you know, you've had a really good year. You say you celebrate the little things. Well, you've got a 1-0 lead right now. What was that dugout like after the Kaiser home run to put you ahead?
Yeah, that home run wasn't little, was it? So we celebrate a lot, you know. But we understand that there's a lot of game left, so we've got to keep grinding. We've got to keep adjusting throughout the game because UCF has a great program, so you know it's going to be a fight, so we've got to keep adjusting.
And Coach McKaylin Kaiser, one of your seniors. We talked a little bit yesterday about this senior class. Could you share with the world what this group has meant to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I was asked that yesterday and teared up a little bit, but you know, these 4 seniors, they pour their heart and soul into this program, and that's all I can hope from any person that comes through this program is to pour their heart and soul into it, play for the name on the front of the jersey, playing for something bigger than ourselves. And this class has shown that 100% throughout the season as leaders, as human beings, and putting everything they have into this program.
Thanks, you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate
Julie
y'all.
Boland. Yep. Conference USA Coach of the Year. She's done a masterful job. She's been there a long time, so it was an easy transition after Jana McGinnis retired.
Yeah, I mean, that is a woman who you mentioned earlier, bleeds red and white. She's been a Gamecock for 30 years. And in learning, you know, that transition from assistant to head coach, that is a unique one in a sense that as an assistant, you are managing day-to-day X's and O's, and as a head coach, you are managing a program, you're managing an alumni base, and she has just done a wonderful job of managing all parts of the game for this program.
9-1-2 for UCF. Samantha Ray, Aubrey Evans, Kendall Yarnell due up here in the third inning. Knights down a run. They're the number 6 seed in this bracket. And again, the NCAA, after years of seeding just 16 teams, seeding 32 teams. So half the bracket. And that's a leadoff walk to Samantha Ray as McKenna Moore faced the minimum in the second. Thanks to a caught stealing, has now given up 3 walks. Never liked walking the number 9 hitter.
Certainly not, especially when you have Aubrey Evans at the top of this order who has a ton of pop. But McKenna Moore, the freshman jitters, and also tighter strike zone.
Bunt, Evans perfectly placed, and that will move Ray into scoring position. Almost got a hit out of there.
Yeah, a little bobble here as we see Aubrey Evans executing the sacrifice bunt. Great job by the senior to do her job. And almost the ability to use the wheels as Kaylee Martin bobbled it just enough. But Jack State gets the out and passes the bat to one of the hottest hitters in the Big 12 and in the country in Yarnell.
Yarnell was a strikeout victim of Moore's back in the first. Came into the tournament with a .781 slugging percentage. As it stands right now, that's the 3rd best in program history.
And it seems like every time the sophomore has come up to the plate, it's been in a clutch moment, and it's been with a clutch swing. And you look at the RBI total, you look at the home run total, and you could see why they've had a record-breaking year.
Big 12 was really good this year, too. UCF, one of 7 teams from that conference to make the national tournament. The most for the Big 12 since 2012. The 0-2 to Yarnell. Inside corner, got her. Moore gets her looking for the second out.
It's a great pitch by the freshman Moore. Screwball inner half. Not a pitch you can do a ton of damage with if you're Yarnell. That is a pitcher's pitch. And if I'm Moore, I am staying right there to these right-handers.
And now Beth Damon swings at the first pitch, and she's a quick out. So Moore walks the leadoff hitter, Samantha Ray, but gets out of trouble in the third. Texas won the national championship last year for the first time. We talked about it earlier today, Rain, that we think it's a wide open field. Really no decided favorite this year. We do know this, 76% of host teams advance to the Supers. 97% of teams with a Game 1 win advance on in the tournament. Now, Florida State was upset earlier today by Stetson. So if the Seminoles are going to stay on the right side of that statistic there, they're going to have to come through the losers bracket, which, of course, they're facing elimination tomorrow afternoon.
Just a difficult feat to come back from, not only, emotionally, but physically, too. But, if there's any team to do it.
Aria Davis fly out to center here to start the fourth for Jack State. Let's look at the bracket. Stetson with the 8-3 win. Just the second win in national tournament play for Stetson in that program's history. And they led it from the second inning on. Never trailed in the ballgame. Florida State just did not get the prototypical start from a Jazzy Jancic that you would expect, the ACC Pitcher of the Year. She was out after 2 2/3, and Stetson rides to victory, their first win over Florida State since 1987.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, Clay. When they chased Francic from the game after giving up 5 runs, that was a key moment and a key execution for the Stetson offense. And I think you credit Stetson versus picking apart Jazzy Francic's game. I think they came in prepared for balls up in the zone for speeds. And yeah, I think more than anyone else, I'm sure Jazzy Francic is going to look at her performance and tweak and be cerebral about it, because that's who she is. That's why she's so good. But I think you got to credit the Hatters in that program for how they prepared and how they showed up today. Because they also hit Ashton Danley well, and then they gave Dimitrievich, they hit some hard hit balls off of her too. So just a wonderful softball game to watch, and Stetson was all over it from pitch 1.
Kaiser had the home run in the second inning, the only run in this ball game. The 1-2 flipped out of play. Who does Florida State go with tomorrow? Do they bring Francic back?
I think depending on this game here, depending on who comes out of this game as the winner or loser, I think you then look at the scout, you look at the analytics, and you see who maybe matches up. And then you got to bake in, how are those pitchers feeling physically? We are not privy to all the little nagging injuries that these young women are battling at this point of the year. But all of those factors play into it. So what we have learned with Coach Alameda is she trusts all of the arms in the bullpen and feels like, depending on matchups, she can rely on any of them to show up on any given day. Today just wasn't Jazzy Francic's day.
Two and two to Kaiser. Hit her 11th home run in the second inning. Now 3-2. You mentioned it before. Kaiser, one of 5 players with at least 30 walks on this season. Such a discerning eye for so many of these Gamecocks. There's an example of it again, as Kaiser draws the walk with 1 out here in the 4th.
Yeah, they're just relentless. And again, going back to before where, I was a hitter, never really felt bad for pitchers, but and this year it's been because the offenses have surged, but man, this Jack State team, they just battle. They raise the pitch count. I mean, Torrey Payne's at 67 pitches, and we're 3 1/3 into this ball game, and so they're so good at wearing you down, seeing pitches, and then executing the swings when they need to.
Swung on, base hit, Ashley Phillips. Stopping at second is Kaiser. Here come the Gamecocks, 2 on, 1 out, and Underwood will come up. Remember, Torrey Payne did not start this game. Reagan Bocoon, another freshman, lasted just 8 pitches, threw only 1 strike. And she was quickly taken out by Cindy Bull Malone, the head coach. And now Coach Bear is making her way out again, as Torrey Payne has run into some issues here in the 4th inning. It's going to be a pitching change. We step aside here in Tallahassee. This is Lena Elkins. After a couple of freshmen, we're seeing a senior right-hander now.
Yeah, the senior righty has a ton of experience in the circle. Sample size a little bit lower this year than earlier in her career, but the numbers speak for themselves in terms of what she's been able to do in 18 appearances. 3.31 ERA. The walks have been inflated. That's going to be a key, is to attack the zone early and often. Has a drop ball, a changeup, and then has developed a rise ball throughout her career. But that drop change mix, when she's able to tunnel those pitches, meaning put them up against each other and make it very hard to discern which is which as a hitter, that's when she has most success.
Number 4, JC Underwood.
She comes into a situation with 2 base runners on behind her. And 1 out. JC Underwood, the 8-hole hitter, reached on a walk in the 2nd inning, when Torrey Payne was still in the ballgame. One to nothing, Jack State on a home run by Kaiser back in the 2nd. Now they have 2 on. Strike, 1-1 to Underwood. Jack State's best NCAA tournament finish came 17 years ago. They won the Knoxville Regional. Big upset of the Volunteers that year. They've got that on their mind here. That they'd love to come out of Tallahassee and get onto the Supers. Because it's such a veteran team with so much explosive talent up and down the lineup, can't see why they wouldn't be able to come out of here.
No, definitely not. I mean, like we talked about, this regional, 1 through 4 seeds, if you will, is stacked. It's so competitive.
2-2. Ground ball, left side. They're going to get 1. Will they get 2? No. CeCe Humphreys with the quick turn, but not in time to get Underwood. But now there are 2 away, runners at the corners, and Cushingberry, who had a 9-pitch at bat before striking out, coming to the plate.
Yeah, just to round out that point about Jack State and their confidence, similar to Stetson, they have faced really good teams this year. They've been in these moments, and they haven't faltered. I mean, they faced Ole Miss twice, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Alabama, had a 2-1 lead versus Alabama for 3 innings of that game.
Cushingberry coming off a strong conference tournament. You know, we saw Tori Payne come in for Vokoun and slam the door in the first. Lena Elkins trying to do the same thing here in the fourth. We have not seen the ace arm for UCF today, Isa Vega. And, you know, to only be down 1 run with all of the traffic that Jack State has been having in this ballgame, that's really saying something, especially without their best pitcher out. There's a strike. It's 2-2.
Yeah, so I think you got to credit Coach Bear for her ability to develop all the arms. 9 arms, technically, for UCF. They lose the freshman Hildy Dempsey, who was putting together a wonderful year in March due to injury, so they've had to kind of piece things together. And they play great defense. I mean, the Aubrey Evans plays up the middle with CeCe Humphreys. Like, we take it for granted because they make it look way too easy. But those moments, getting lead outs on tough hops as the ground gets harder and harder here in Tallahassee, those are huge in this game.
3-2. Aubrey Evans is engaged, getting married this coming fall. She wants to give herself an early wedding present with a trip to Oklahoma City. And she's going to field this one and get UCF off the field. Great job by Lena Elkins. Coming in and stranding 2 Jack State base runners. We're going to talk to the bench boss for the night, Cindy Ball-Malone. Coach Bear next. Back here in Tallahassee, 1-0 Jack State leading UCF as the Knights get ready to hit here in the 4th inning. Let's bring in Coach Cindy Ball-Malone, 8th year with the Knights. And Coach, a lot of game left. Your offense has been so good throughout the year. How do you get to McKenna more?
Yeah, I just think we need to be ourselves. I think we're kind of swinging at the pitches she wants us to swing at, and, you know, we need to swing at our pitches. But, and then second time through, I think it's a good time for us, and I like how we keep putting pressure on. So.
Yeah, and Coach, you maybe feel a chip on your shoulder there. You know, we talked yesterday about when your team plays their best softball. Can you talk about that brand of playing with the chip on the shoulder?
Yeah, we talk about just being chippy. We're disruptors. You know, we disrupt the norm, and it's time for us to show that now to ourselves.
All right, Coach.
All right.
Enjoy your potato chips and enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Cindy Ball-Malone. She goes by Coach Bear, though. That's what she wants to be called. That's what everybody loves calling her, and she was a delight to talk to yesterday, too. High school teammates with our Jess Mendoza back at Camarillo High School in Camarillo, California back in the day.
Very cool. And she was talking about all kinds of stuff yesterday. Just a joy to be around, and so cool to see how she's led this program, how she's challenged this program. Her mindset, pitching-wise, she's like, I'm so glad there's no video of me pitching. I'm glad I pitched when I did because it's hard now.
Izzy Murta swings at the first pitch from Moore and flies out to center. A soft liner. And Moore continues to work efficiently. 1 quick out here in the 4th inning.
And although not the result you want if you're the Knights, I think that's good execution. Get a pitch out of the middle of the plate, hit your pitch, hunt your pitch.
CeCe Humphreys was a strikeout victim to end the 1st inning. Humphreys was in the room with us yesterday when she talked about the team mantra. As she skies this one to center. Nowakowski's out there. 2 up, 2 down. The team mantra for UCF is resilience. And, you know, they're going to have to be resilient today, being down in this ballgame. We're in the middle innings now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's keeping the flow in the dugout, keeping the energy. And, I mean, they're down 1 run. I mean, they are 1 swing away with the home run power that they have. Humphreys there, I mean, just a tick late on that one with the barrel, but if she gets the barrel out a little bit more, we got a tie ball game. And they have that ability up and down this lineup, and so I think it's maintaining that confidence as an offense.
Here's another veteran in Ashley Griffin. She's the only player left from that 2022 team that went to the Super Regional in Norman. First ever Super Regional in Knights history. Five in a row set down by Moore. But now she gives up a 2-out walk to Griffin, and that'll bring up Jaimez. Representing the go-ahead run.
Number 12.
Yeah, fourth walk on the day for the freshman. And I think to look at the scoreboard, you've given up one hit, but 4 free passes. If you can circle and shore that number up, you feel pretty good. But the stuff has been great. Jaime is really the only at-bat so far that has done a lot of damage, and it was a barrel out to left field as a slapper.
That's the only hit for UCF. But then she was caught stealing in the second inning. Jaime has one homer this year. It was a grand slam at Houston back in March. The ball has not been flying out of here today. We've seen a lot of balls throughout the course of the afternoon hit deep but not out. A lot of warning track power today. That one is slapped foul, 1-2 to Jaimez. She was terrific in the series win at Oklahoma State this year. 5 for 10 for UCF, and that's probably the biggest series victory this year in the Big 12 for the Knights. Slapped up the middle, base hit. 2-hit game for Coco Jaimez.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, just finding barrels, moving the feet through the box, power slap up the middle, line drive, past the bat. That's what it takes. 2 for 2 on the day is Jaimez, and seems to be playing her best softball in the toughest moments against the best arms. You know, talk about Oklahoma State. They also beat Arizona State with Kinsey Brown, one of the best arms in the country.
Bullpen is active for Jack State. McKenna Moore, 3 2/3, no runs allowed. And just the 2 hits, both from Jaimez. So you got to think that she still has quite a bit of leash here, provided UCF doesn't do some 2-out damage. That was the real key for Stetson in our first game today, the 2-out hitting for the Hatters. Knights would like to pick up on some of that right now.
Yep, absolutely. They were relentless, Stetson was, and the Knights need that clutch hit.
Time. Cindy Ball Malone calling Calvez over for a little chat. What's the gist of this conversation, Rain?
I think it's about approach as a slapper. There are so many options. You can power slap, you can chop slap it, you can bunt for a hit. And so even you can sit and swing away. And so I think it's discussing, hey, what does McKenna Moore throw? What can we do with that if it's working away from us, up and with the screwball? First and second, so if you hit a hard shot to the left side, all they have to do is tap third base. Whereas if nobody's on, then you're pressuring them with your speed. That's not a big factor. So what tools do you have in your tool belt, and how do you match that with what McKenna Moore is going to bring you as a pitcher?
Knights 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. Crowd didn't like that, the Jack State fans, but it's been a tight strike zone all day for Chris Neighbors. There's another one off the plate, barely. 2-1. One of the top freshman pitchers in the country, McKenna Moore, with a little pressure on her right now. Really the best threat we have seen from UCF in a while. They had 2 on with 1 out back in the first inning, but Moore got off the hook. Trying to do it again here in the 4th. Full count.
And runners will be going 2 outs here, and so outfield needs to understand that. Entire defense needs to understand that.
Griffin at second, Jaimez at first. 3-2 to the hitter, Calvez. Slapped and past third base into left field for a base knock. Calvez halfway to second base. The slam on the brakes. I don't know what she thought was happening in front of her, but she gets back to first okay. Bases loaded.
Yeah, I think it's assuming, hey, 2 outs on the pitch, you're stealing, you're running. But she's got to know there, Griffin does not have a ton of speed now at third base, but surprised they didn't send her. It looked like Coach Jones over at third base was giving the green light. A missed opportunity for UCF. That was a long way for Cushingberry to range to come up on that ball and make a throw. And then you also got to think Aria Davis was working back, so to make that throw to home, also difficult. Surprised they did not send her there.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. This is Samantha Ray, who reached on a walk. Her only plate appearance. Second team all-conference. It's not often you see the player leading the team in average batting in the 9 spot, but that's the case with Samantha Ray, not your prototypical 9-hole hitter, hitting just a couple of ticks below 400. Hit toward the gap, going back. Nowakowski, she makes the catch to end the inning. The Knights leave them loaded as McKenna Moore ducks a bullet here in the 4th. Do you like maps, Rain?
I love them.
All right, well, let's look around the country here and show you where the host sites are. We're here in Tallahassee, the number 9 national seed, Florida State. They got beat earlier today by Stetson. But there you see it. There are a couple of ACC host sites. Duke, the other one, your alma mater, the Blue Devils. Very southeastern-centric.
And even looking at the breakdown of these conferences, 9 host sites for the SEC. Tying NCAA record, and they played really well all year, but I think, to our point earlier, a lot of parity across this sport in all conferences.
Jack State out of Conference USA, the underdog in this game. Leading 1-0 over UCF out of the Big 12. Emma Elrod, the Conference USA Player of the Year, leading it off here in the inning. Hit by a pitch and popped out to short. She has started every game this year, left, right, sometimes the DP, but hit .408 against league pitching this year. The 0-2 from Lena Elkins. Elkins came on in relief last inning after Tori Payne went 3 1/3. Payne did not start the game. Reagan Vokoun, freshman, threw 8 pitches, only landed 1 for a strike, and she got the early hook. With that said, Jack State did not score in the first inning, but they've had a lot of traffic on the bases, and it's only 1-0. Two. Full count. We've seen a lot of these today. That is the 10th full count for UCF today. will pop up. And, that was harder than it looks because Ashley Griffin had to deal with that sun, which is coming down into right field, the grandstand, just over the grandstand right now. The sunglasses are big, and she needed them.
Yeah, great job by Griffin there to stay in it. Super tough. I mean, when that ball goes into the sun, you're not finding it. So great job by the senior to get herself in a position, see the ball out of the sun, and get that out. I mean, leadoff outs are so critical, especially for Elkins, who has struggled with the free pass. And so for her ability to attack the zone, get outs, especially against Elrod, so critical late in this game.
Senior center fielder Morgan Nowakowski. Roller up along the bag at first, but it's foul. Nowakowski had her team-leading 35th walk in the first inning, but then grounded out in the third. She is second in the country with 24 doubles. Jack State has 109 as a team. That's fourth national. Fifth-year senior happy to finally be playing in a national tournament. Two-one from Elkins. Down and in. They're going to appeal. That's going to be a strike. Lyndon Baptiste, third base umpire, says that's a strike, so it's 2-2.
We'll take a look. I think it's a good call. I think the barrel gets ahead of the hip there. Very close. Judgment call. 2-2 the count.
Another full count. Popped up behind first and coming over is C.C. Humphreys for the catch. Long at bat. And Nowakowski's retired. 2 up, 2 down here in the fifth.
Number 34, Amber Lee.
And for UCF, next inning, you got Aubrey Evans leading off. It feels like they can get a 1-2-3 inning here, get the momentum back into the Knights' dugout. They're in a really good position in the bottom half of this fifth inning to tie things up, take the lead. But, man, does it feel like it's not just a one-run lead for Jack State right now? That's the feeling of this game, the way McKenna Moore has pitched and the way this offense has consistently applied pressure to UCF.
Amber Reed is 1 for 2. Yeah, and McKenna Moore's had some luck on her side, too.
Yeah.
You feel like it's kind of her day.
Yeah. Well, and I think, when you're a great pitcher, you create your own luck. 4 free passes, which is not something you ever want. I think when you look at the day you have, and I walked 4 people, probably not throwing a shutout.
This should end the inning, but again, the sun is a challenge. Calvez shielding her eyes, puts it away. It's a 1-2-3 fifth for Elkins. Jack State, program's 10th NCAA tournament, 3rd straight regional here in Tallahassee. Their last tournament was in 2018, lost to the eventual national champion Florida State in the regional final. UCF's 6th straight national tournament appearance, and no strangers to Tallahassee either. They've been here 4 times in the last 6 years. They've been in Tallahassee 5 times overall in their program's history. It's 1-0 Gamecocks as we move to the bottom of the 5th, and this is go time for the Knights, Rain Wilson. It's Aubrey Evans, Kendall Yarnell, and Beth Damon, 1, 2, and 3 for the Knights.
And I think the name I circle, obviously Aubrey Evans, but also Kendall Yarnell, her ability to bounce back from 2 strikeouts, not something she's used to, been so good, but you got to credit McKenna Moore in the circle and what she's been able to do. But can Yarnell make the adjustments needed to give this Knights team the boost they need to get back into this game?
Evans a walk and a sacrifice today. against McKenna Moore. Moore, no runs, 3 hits in 4 innings, has walked 4 but struck out 5. She's had to do a tap dance a few times to get out of innings. That is not a strike somehow. 4-pitch walk to Evans. That was very close.
I think the indication here is that that ball is down. I don't think it is. To me, that's right at the knees, and our umpiring crew has done a great job these first 2 games, and that one in this moment, I don't know.
So walk number 5, and McKenna Moore has done a great job working around the base runners, and she gets Kendall Yarnell to pop out into foul territory on 1 pitch. And this is what we're talking about. Sometimes luck is your best friend.
Well, hey, I mean, luck or just executing a nasty rise ball in the hands, too. That was a great bounce back from the freshman. Sometimes you can get emotional. The crowd's getting on the umpire. You feel like that was a strike. Why? That's not a walk. And then you go execute a great pitch against one of the best hitters in this UCF lineup. It's veteran stuff.
Damon is 0 for 1. Damon is one of 2 players in the country who have homered against both Nigeri Kennedy of Texas Tech and Oklahoma State's Ruby Malin. Those are the who's who of college pitchers this year.
Yeah, and Nigeri Kennedy has one of the best rise balls in the country as well. Different motion than McKenna Moore. You'll see McKenna Moore stride out to the left and really create an angle and leverage with her screwball up and on the hands, but she'll also go away, which she did just there.
The other player, by the way, Tanya Windle of Arizona State. He's homered against Kennedy and Malin. Damon, 15 home runs.
And it's not only McKenna Moore's ability to go arm side up and in the hands of Damon, but it's also her ability to do just that there, where she can also paint away. And so as a hitter, when you have to defend against low and away, up and in the back of your head McKenna Moore can pull out the flip change, disrupts timing.
Called strike 3. Two down.
And to me, this looks similar to the Aubrey Evans ball 4, but instead rings up Beth Damon, and that is a pitcher's pitch that paints the inside edge, maybe a little bit in, but if I'm a righty right now, I know that's getting called. I'm trying to fight that off.
She goes off speed to Mertis to start her at bat. Izzy is 0 for 2, lined out to center her last time up. One strike pitch. Mertis has 11 home runs. She had a big one against Michigan in the Austin Regional last year, helped the Knights get to the regional final against Texas. Of course, they lost, and Texas went on to the national championship. Ground ball to short. And how about McKenna Moore? Walks the leadoff hitter, but again comes out of it clean in the 5th. What's your best memory from your time with the Blue Devils?
Ooh. Probably going to Texas during that COVID year, the first 27 games, and we upset number 1 Texas. And that was really our first ever big win, 1-0. And, I think that was the start of something great that I can't say I contributed much towards.
Sure you do.
The crew now, one of the best offenses in the country. Marissa Young, head coach, Team 9. I was on Team 1 back in the day. It's grown a lot.
Hosting a regional this weekend. That program has come a long way in a short amount of time. Kaylee Martin, Aria Davis, McKaylin Kaiser. Kaiser is the difference in this game. She'll hit third here in the sixth. Her leadoff home run in the second inning, the only run for these two teams today. Jack State 1 run on 3 hits. UCF being shut out. They only have 3 hits today.
Yeah, and for UCF, the hits have been base hits. I mean, a couple slaps to the left side. And so for McKenna Moore, tip your cap to the freshman.
Lena Elkins, tip your hat to her, too. The senior gets a strikeout of Martin to start the sixth. And she has retired 6 in a row.
1, 2, 3 in the top half of the fifth, and then beautiful sequence here in the sixth. Fast, 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 slow. Pulls the string with the flip change. Tunnels well with the drop. Nice job by the senior.
Aria Davis has flown out a couple of times today, 0 for 2, a .284 hitter. Was just 1 for 10 at the conference tournament. So any minute, they're expecting her to break out again. She homered in the regular season finale against Sam Houston. One pitch to Davis. Lifts this one into medium deep right field. Calvez again battling the sun. That is the sun field this time of the day, right field. 2 up, 2 down. Elkins is cruising, but now she's going to have to deal to Kaiser. Kaiser did that in the second inning. It's the difference in this game.
Yeah, she didn't miss it. I mean, we talk about small moments in this game, a game of adjustments, a game of inches. That was a game of 280 feet deep to left field, and that's been the difference so far.
That was her 11th home run of the season, team high. Also her 52nd run batted in, a team high. What do you think's going through the mind of Julie Boland down there at the third base coach's box? She can't believe that 1 run is going to be enough.
No, and that's the thought process too, looking at who's coming up for UCF, how her arm's feeling. Is McKenna Moore feeling good? Talking to her pitching coach, Olivia Gray. And I mean, I feel for these coaches and the stress and the anxiety and all the moves you could make, you should make, you wish you had made. But that woman right there has 30 years of experience in this program, and so no one better suited to make those calls.
Winner gets Stetson tomorrow at high noon here in Tallahassee. Florida State, the host, the number 9 national seed, will face elimination later in the afternoon on Saturday. Outside, here we go, another full count. We've had many of these today as the strike zone has been tight. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Kaiser. Twisting out of play. Lonnie Alameda is watching this game, sitting under the fan down that right field line, and I'm sure she's taking some mental notes. Floats upstairs, ball 4. 2-out walk given up by Elkins. First base runner for Jack State since the 4th inning.
Yeah, the first walk on the day for Lena Elkins, the senior, and I think that's the number you circle. She's done a great job of attacking the zone. Coach Barris had to use quite a few arms here today, not two within the first 10 pitches of the game. And Lena Elkins has really settled things down for UCF.
Ashley Phillips, 1 for 2. You got to be careful to Phillips' reign. 8 home runs on the year. That's 3rd on the team. She had a walk-off homer in the 8th to complete the sweep of Louisiana Tech in March. She's had some in some big moments. Boy, the Gamecocks would love one here. 2-1.
Yeah, any type of insurance would definitely be welcomed by this Jack State team. And because one run against this UCF offense, who has the ability to put the ball out of the ballpark all the way through the lineup, does not feel comfortable.
Soft liner, and Ray is there for the out. 2 2/3 shutout innings by Lena Elkins. Well, Stetson is the talk of the tournament so far. The upset of the 9 overall seed Florida State, 8-3 earlier today. A couple of big home runs early in that ball game. And they will be in the winner's bracket against the winner of this one. Florida State facing elimination. Again, you know, you get out on the right foot, and it can carry you to the Super Regionals, as these numbers will attest.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the uphill battle you have if you lose this first game is real. I mean, 97% of teams with a Game 1 win advance. And not to say that it hasn't happened. Of course it has. And I think if you're a Florida State fan, and if you're a softball fan or a sports fan, you look at the track record that Florida State has had, you never count them out of the ability to put games together, to go on a run deep in a postseason. But looking at all 4 of these ball clubs, it's going to be tough.
CeCe Humphreys fouling this one off. Humphreys, Griffin, and Jaimez, 5, 6, and 7 for UCF, trying to find some offense against McKenna Moore. No runs, have 3 hits today.
It almost looks like this UCF team is a little in between pitches. They're attacking McKenna Moore's best pitch, and they're almost freezing up for the pitches out over the middle of the plate. Like, that, to me, is a pitch. I know you're trying to attack up in the zone because that's where the movement is. But can you do damage with that pitch, with the movement, with the velo of McKenna Moore?
Slap foul. Going back to those numbers, so just 3% of teams that take a Game 1 loss, advance. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it's a long day tomorrow. You got to win 2 games tomorrow, and then you got to win 2 games on Sunday.
Now, Florida State's the host. They're going to have the crowd behind them,
yeah.
And they know the environment, the surroundings here. That's going to be a huge advantage.
Absolutely.
They have some players who did not have good days. You can't imagine that they're going to string 2 of those in a row. I think that Lonnie probably feels pretty good about their chances to be playing in the regional final.
I think, to your point, they're too good.
Hit deep short. Snagged by Davis. Not enough time to get Humphreys. Humphreys is going to take off for second, and she's going to get there. Tying run at second base. Nobody out here in the 6th for UCF.
A ball in the hole. You got to know the speed of Humphreys here. Aria Davis does a great job to make this play close. And then on first base, you got to get in front of that for Martin. And then on the other side of things, too, Makalyn Kaiser has to be trailing that runner to back up that throw. So to me, kind of 3 mental errors there by this Jack State defense, which we are not used to seeing. CeCe Humphreys takes advantage and is in scoring position.
Fourth time that UCF has had the leadoff hitter on. Up to now, nothing to show for it. They get Humphreys to second base on that throwing error. So here's the defense drawn up at third and first with Ashley Griffin at the plate.
And I'll be interested to see how UCF plays this. Coco Jaimez, Zoe Calvez, not power hitters, slap hitters. But Coco Jaimez has hit really well, 2 singles on the day. Do they try to move the runner over to third base? JC Underwood playing in. And you see CeCe Humphreys coming back to second with nobody there on a bunt shift. Second base going to first base crashing, shortstop going to third. It allows CeCe Humphreys to lead off very, very aggressively. And so if a base hit gets out there with the speed of Humphreys, UCF's got to be confident that she'll score.
One is down, and it's a beauty. Out at first base. Humphreys now representing the tying run at third. Well done by Ashley Griffin.
And Coach Bear, ran on the field pretty quickly. And it looks like they're going to either review or have a conversation first about the ball coming out of the glove. She was convicted in running over there.
So UCF is going to challenge. His first challenge of the day. Call was out at first base. It's going to have to be something real obvious to overturn it. Let's see if we can get another good look here. I just don't know how you overturn that.
Yeah, I think at the very end of the play is what Coach Bear was referencing. When Ashley Phillips picks up the glove, I don't think it's it got there first situation. I think it's, does she maintain the catch throughout the play? So ball's in the glove there. But when she picks this glove up, I think that's what Coach Bear was pointing to, like, oh, the ball was on the ground at that point. I don't see it there, but hey, it's deep in this game. You got 2 challenges. If you feel like you've seen something,
roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Yeah, it's late enough in the game where if you lose it, you still have one in your back pocket.
And after the 6th, umpires can initiate a review anyway.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The run is out.
So Griffin is out, but the whole purpose of the at-bat was to advance the runner, and she did that very well.
Great bunt. And that is a difficult pitcher to bunt off of. Arm side action, in on your hands, up in the zone. You're thinking, don't pop it up, obviously. And Griffin does her job. The senior passes the bat to Coco Jaimez, who's been the best hitter for this Knights team all day long. Infield's in.
She has 2 of the Knights' 4 hits. Strike. Jaimez has been a terror in the national tournament the last 2 years. 10 hits in the Austin Regional and the Tallahassee Regional in 25 and 26. Popped up down the line, and coming in and making the catch is Christianberg for the second out. And Humphrey stands tight at third base, but now 2 away.
That's a huge pitch from McKenna Moore, and a missed opportunity for UCF. That's an at-bat there where you know you've got speed in CeCe Humphreys at third base. You know you got speed in the batter's box. Make the defense play hard ground ball, send the runner at third. If she gets caught, get her in a rundown, extend to second base.
Strike 1 to Calvez, who's 1 for 2. Tell you what, the bottom of the order for UCF has been pretty productive. They have 3 hits down here. A couple of walks in there as well. So there has been base runners most of the innings for UCF. With that said, they've left 7 on. Now trying to get the tying run home here in the 6th. There's Humphreys at third. McKenna Moore. Poke foul. Moore has dodged trouble all game. Trying to cling to this 1-run lead. 5 2/3 today. Shutout so far. Another foul ball. Knights looking for that big hit. 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position today. And this is Calvez at the plate against Moore, who has to be a little tired about now. This is going to be pitch 101. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the LSU transfer, Zoe Calvez. Back to Moore. She dances away from a fire again. We head to the 7th in Tallahassee. Time for our Capital One rewarding performance. Jack State leading 1-0 in the 7th. The freshman, McKenna Moore, Conference USA Freshman of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, dominant today.
She's been fantastic, especially these powerful righties of this UCF team. She's isolated the inner part of the zone. She squeezes them up. But, you know, the biggest thing to me is the 5 free passes. She's allowed a base runner in every single inning. And when it's mattered most, her back's against the wall, she is executed. And as a freshman, you know, she is playing like a veteran senior.
High stress innings for sure. And I'm sure Julie Boland would be the first to tell you that. As this one is hit toward the gap off the bat of Underwood, and it's going to get down for extra bases. J.C. Underwood starts the 7th with a stand-up double.
I love the way the sophomore Underwood plays softball. With grit, with fire. Samantha Ray almost makes an incredible play here. I think if you ask Ray, she'd tell you I should have made that. But Underwood, fired up. Good things happen when you barrel softballs. Barrels it there, a leadoff double. Looking for insurance.
Cushenberry bunts it foul. Cushenberry in the 9 spots at the top of the order, and Elrod due up next. Conference USA Player of the Year. This is a good spot for Jack State to tack on some insurance. Pitch out. Throw down to second. Back is Underwood. So Isa Vega greeted rudely by Underwood with the double. Vega, the sophomore ace for UCF. We thought we might see her in the circle to start, but we wait till the 7th inning to get our first look of Isa Vega. Another bunt attempt, but it's foul. So now with 2 strikes, that's likely off for Cushenberry.
Yeah, and the goal is still to get that runner over. But Isa Vega, to your point, Clay, an incredible year last year, a great year this year, but has taken on a ton of workload. The numbers speak for themselves. She has been in there a ton for this UCF team. Ooh.
Vega had a great freshman All-American season last year. First team All-Big 12 this year. 17 wins. A career high 140 innings. And she gets Cushingberry on strikes for the first out of the 7th.
This is what Issa Vega brings to the table. A nasty rise ball, arm side action, up and away. Similar to her counterpart, McKenna Moore. A little bit different style in how she does it, but they're showing off the velo.
Strike 1 to Emma Elrod.
And I understand the reason you put the 9-hole in position to bunt the ball over. But Issa Vega, with that elite rise ball, it's difficult to put a bunt down.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 strikes, and all of a sudden you got to swing and battle off a pitcher you've never seen.
Quiet day for Elrod, the player of the year in Conference USA. .338 coming into this plate appearance. Hit a mile high into left. Mertes is there, makes the catch for out number 2. So after giving up the double to Underwood, Vega has retired Cushingberry and Elrod in order, and now Nowakowski, another tough out from this Jack State lineup.
Yeah, huge out for Issa Vega, this team. If they can get out of this without damage, they are one swing away from being right back in this ballgame.
Due up in the 7th for UCF, Samantha Ray, Aubrey Evans, and Kendall Yarnell. 9-1-2. But again, Ray, the 9-hole hitter, is their leading hitter. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Jack State trying to pull the second upset of the Tallahassee Regional. UCF, last chance. Need one to tie. They could walk it off with 2. The UCF Knights, the last 3 years, have lost in the regional round. The coaching staff in the offseason pushed this team harder than they've been pushed in a long time. Go back to last fall, these players will say, we've been through a lot, but it's helped us. It's made us physically and mentally tough. Well, they need to call on that right now.
And we talked to Coach about this yesterday. She said, hate me now, love me later. I knew something had to change. They talked about it being the hardest fall of their life. They went through the program. They were battle tested. They talked about sudden changes. They were told, hey, you got to be over at this part of campus in 4 minutes. If you're not, get ready. And so they have been in these moments with their backs against the wall where it's a chaotic environment. And she has seen them show up. And that word we keep circling is resilience. Can they show it here in the bottom of the 7th?
Samantha Ray, Aubrey Evans, Kendall Yarnell, 9-1-2 for the Knights, who have been 4 hit by the Conference USA Pitcher of the Year, McKenna Moore. Just a freshman, but she has pitched like a savvy veteran today. Needs 3 outs to get Jack State onto the winner's bracket, and an unlikely date with Stetson, who pulled an upset earlier today against the Seminoles of FSU. Strike, 1-1.
Bracket busters. And you can see Gamecock fans already on their feet. A lot of softball left, though.
Bunt. 1 down. Boy, that was not an easy play. Underwood, who led off last inning with that double, the snap throw over to first for the first down.
Huge first out. And that's also pre-pitch preparation, knowing what Samantha Ray brings to the table. Huge first out of the 7th.
Top of the order, and Evans. He's no hits today, but she has a couple of walks, also has a sacrifice today. Needs to get on to set the table for these Knights. Down a run in the 7th. 1-1 pitch. 1-2. McKenna Moore, what a year. Had a great start to the season. Shut out DePaul back in February with 15 strikeouts. Went behind the years rookie, but coaching staff saw right away she was going to be special in 2026. Hit into the corner, but caught by Cushenberry. Deep shot by Evans, a bid for extra bases. Cushenberry hauls it in, and now UCF's down to its last out.
Evans got a nice piece of this one, a little bit jammed up. But how about the jump out in left field? We talked about McKenna Moore. We talked about this offense's ability to find their way on. But how about the defense? Showing off once again. 1 out away.
Now Kendall Yarnell with 2 outs, trying to keep the Knights alive. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Jacksonville State. No, it's not an all-Florida regional. Jacksonville, Alabama, the home of this great university, a proud softball program. Trying to get onto the winner's bracket. And caught Kaylin Kaiser on the mask. And time is called. Home plate umpire Chris Neighbors is going to take a little stroll here to give her some time to shake the cobwebs out. Kaiser, of course, has the home run. Back in the second inning. That's the only run in this game.
And just remarkable that this defense and Kaiser, I mean, that strike him out, throw him out. And the communication that she's had with Coach Bowen, Olivia Gray, the pitching coach, her pitcher. It's evident that this team is player-led, a rich culture at Jack State on display right now.
One and two to Yarnell. Just got a piece of it to stay alive.
Yeah, right now I'm working out of the zone. I'm not giving anything to Yarnell she can do damage with, because that swing tells me she's kind of being defensive, and I would be too. When McKenna Moore can dot all parts of the zone with elite movement, very difficult.
Hot shot down the line. That's a fair ball. Yarnell tracking to second, will get there standing up. Tying run at second base, Kendall Yarnell, giving the Knights a pulse here in the seventh inning.
Yarnell's not going to stay quiet for long. This pitch out over the middle of the plate. And you saw before that, Coach Bear over at third base signaling to the sophomore through the infield. The result will be a line drive. But to me, a mistake there as they put in a runner to get some speed on the base path.
Yeah, it's Callista Birkenstock. The sophomore will run for Yarnell, representing the tying run, and Beth Damon, the team's best power hitter, coming up now. 15 home runs on the season for Damon. She could end this with one swing.
Damon's gotten beat on the inner half. Her last time up, struck out looking on a screwball inside. I'd imagine she expects to get that pitch. The key is, can she get the barrel out in time against the velo of McKenna Moore?
Moore starts her high.
And on the other side of things, too, for McKenna Moore, you might know Beth Damon's going to be sitting at middle in. And so you go away. That's the cat and mouse game that makes this sport so incredible.
This is the 11th time that Moore has been over the 100 pitch mark in a game. She just needs one more out to get the victory. 1 ball, 1 strike to Beth Damon. Winner gets Stetson. Loser faces Florida State tomorrow here in Tallahassee. 2-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit. Coming around is Yarnell. Here's the throw, not in time. We're tied at 1. Damon delivers with 2 outs in the 7th.
Two outs, and the resilience on display. That pitch froze Beth Damon in her 3rd at-bat. This time gets the barrel out, hits a line shot out to left, and this game is tied. Oh, they're going to look at her leaving early.
Jacksonville State is challenging the ruling on the field. The plays under further review.
So Jack State with a challenge. They're going to go to the monitor to see if the runner left early.
Ooh.
Birkenstock coming in as a pinch runner. And, you know, you've been on the bench for 2.5 hours since the game started. Maybe she did leave a little early. Pinch running is not an easy job.
No.
Especially in crunch time like this.
And since a couple years ago when they made this a reviewable play, the first year was sort of the ace in the pocket for a home run. You just, hey, at the end of the game, walk-off home run, let's review it. And this might be one of those moments. Now, in the dugout, there are people watching that play. There are 2 girls saying, pitch, runner. Can't get a good look. Oh, maybe get a good look. Yeah, I think she's right on time, and I think you see the UCF fan base reacting as such. But, I mean, great call by Jack State to even look at this. You got 2 challenges.
And you can slow down their momentum a little.
Exactly. It's a great point. Yeah, perfectly timed by Birkenstock.
Finally, UCF gets on the board. Hanging by a thread with 2 outs in their 7th. Beth Damon drives in her 50th run of the year, and we're even at a run apiece.
Yeah, I go back to that Yarnell AB. You get her 2 strikes, you get her casting on the outside edge to foul something off, battle, and then you try to go back in, and she makes the adjustment. You give her a pitch over the middle. She's just too good of a hitter to get out 4 times unless you expand. And so far they've challenged both Yarnell and Damon in the 7th, and the heart of this order has responded.
Beth Damon from Edmond, Oklahoma. She wants to get to Oklahoma City, back to her home state with this UCF Knights team. Just tied the game, we think. Here we go. Did the runner leave early?
After further review, the call on the field stands. The runner is safe.
Tie game. And now, UCF is going to bring out another pinch runner. Durant is going to run for Damon. And she represents the winning run. A shutout for 6 2/3 for the freshman Moore. Now can she deal with some adversity here and get off the field and send it to extra innings? Izzy Murtis at the plate. And Moore starts her with a soft strike on the outside corner.
Stone cold, pull the string on the changeup. I mean, McKenna Moore not pitching like a freshman. But credit this UCF offense making adjustments.
Murtis homered in the Austin Regional last year. Helped get the Knights to the final against Texas. Two balls and one strike to Izzy Murtis. Ground ball to short. Flip to second. Inning over. But the Knights tie it in the 7th. We head to extra innings in Tallahassee. What a ball game. Off to the 8th inning. Tallahassee, what a first day of this tournament. A big upset in our first game. Stetson, 8-3 winners over the number 9 national seed Florida State. And now Jack State and UCF going to extras, tied at 1. Kaiser a home run back in the 2nd for the Gamecocks. The Knights getting a run with 2 outs in the 7th. Double by Yarnell and then an RBI single by Damon.
Whew.
What a game this has been.
If you're a sports fan and if you just parked yourself here at Joanne Graff all day, you'd be living a dream. Perfect weather, you got an upset, you got mayhem, and then you almost have another upset, and then we get into extras, free softball here in Tallahassee.
The winner of this one is obviously in such a good spot. The loser facing elimination tomorrow. Amber Reed leading it off for Jack State. Birkenstock, who came in to pinch run last inning and scored for Yarnell, stays in left field. Murtis is now the designated player. There's Birkenstock. A tough play, but there's Birkenstock, the new left fielder, handling it with ease. 1 up, 1 down.
Great job by Birkenstock. It's hard to sit in the dugout all game long and then be activated, and when your name is called, be clutch. I mean, perfect timing on the leadoff at second base last inning to then score on a close play. Head out to left, first ball's hit to you. Really nice job by Callista.
So Reed is retired. This is Kaylee Martin now.
And
Martin is 0 for 3.
Clay, I was just going to say, and if you're Florida State or Stetson, yeah, let's go to 20 innings. You know, both of those programs are going to await the result of this one for tomorrow in preparation.
Inside out swing, dumps it into right field. There will be a throw to first, but not in time to get Martin, who has her first hit today.
And Clay, in a game like this, where Isa Vega now in the game, the ace for UCF. On the other side of things, the ace for Jack State at 120 plus pitches. I think the momentum swings even further into the night's dugout.
No doubt, no doubt. So Vega gives up that hit. Michaela DeVille will come in and run for Martin. Isa Vega, we were talking to her yesterday. She's kind of a quiet leader. Leads on the field, leads by example. But she was telling us she's a voracious reader. Reads a lot of books and just loves to read. I hate to say it, but it's kind of gone out of style. Reading actual books, you know, where you turn the pages. It was great to hear young person say that.
Yeah, and I think I asked a follow-up about what book, as if I know any books.
She has been so good this year. Just a sophomore, but the ace of this staff. Beat Oklahoma State a couple of times. That was a huge series win for UCF. Threw a 5-inning perfect game against Houston back in March. Fourth pitcher to throw for the Knights today. Tied at 1, extra innings. 1-2 the count on Davis. It's upstairs, 2-2. Davis 0 for 3 with 3 fly ball outs. Pulled foul. So this is one of those things where that motto of celebrating the little things will carry you, because that was an emotional gut punch that Jack State took in the bottom of the 7th. Had 2 outs. Looked like they were on their way to a winner's bracket date with Stetson. Called strike 3. Davis goes down looking for the 2nd out of the 8th.
And Issa Vega continuing to deliver the gut punches. This is a pitch, starts on the outside edge, creeps over the outside part of the plate, just freezes up Aria Davis for the strikeout, 2nd out of the inning. And if UCF can get Issa Vega confident with rhythm in the circle, they are a tough team to beat with the offense they have.
Oh, Kaiser got nicked. Oh, that's a scary thing for Jack State. The starting catcher, star power hitter. Where did this hit her?
Right on the hand.
Foul ball off the hand. She had the home run in the 2nd inning. That's her throwing hand, obviously, and we saw her throw out a runner earlier in this game, trying to steal. What a weapon she is offensively, defensively. They can't afford to be without her.
Now, you're going to have to yank her out of this game, but if that caught a bone, which, you know, we know there are so many bones in the hand, 70 miles per hour, right on the hand as you're swinging through it. And if it fractured something, or, you know, and she can't hold the bat, it's no choice there, but just heartbreaking for the senior as just trying to work through it here. Wow.
Yeah, that'll bring tears to your eyes. That hurts. She's going to gut this one out and stay in the ballgame.
Gosh, and unfortunately, I don't think Issa Vega is going to stop throwing her hard inside.
So, yeah, I was going to say, what's the approach here if you're Vega? You
right
jam her
there
again?
Yeah, I think you got to go right back there and force her to swing hard enough and get the barrel out in front of her on your best stuff, which is that up and in rise ball. And if I'm Kaiser, depending on how the hand feels, if she can't grip the bat and get the barrel out in front of her, then, you know, I don't know. It's hard. As a competitor, you're going to get in the box. But is it the best decision to have a sub here maybe hit? I don't know. She only Michaela Kaiser knows that. But I know the adrenaline's pumping. Even if she has a broken hand right now, I imagine she's going to swing. And if I'm her coach, I'm telling her, hey, you're probably going to get something in on the hands again. Just set up for it, get off the plate, and uncap one. Rub some dirt on it, as Michaela is doing.
It's up and in. Ball on a strike to Kaiser, who has been the leader of this team, has put in such great work in her career to rise to this level of excellence. Has driven in the only run for the Gamecocks today. 1-2.
And I think if you're Kaiser here and you can't grip the bat and your hand's hurting, step off the plate, sit in, and if you get freezed up away, it is what it is. But I think that's the only chance you have.
The home run and a couple of walks. So UCF hasn't been able to get her out today. And even after taking one off the hand, she is such a tough out. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Kaiser. Vega gets her. UCF will come up in the bottom of the 8th. Humphreys to lead it off.
And the ace is acing. 2 Ks in the 8th. The Knights a chance to win it.
Let's summarize it for you as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Jack State led 1-0 on the home run by Kaiser. Came way back in the 2nd inning, but the Knights tied it up with 2 outs in the 7th. McKenna Moore, the freshman right-hander, she has been dynamite in the circle for Jack State. Gave it up late. I mean, if you're thinking, man, how is she still in this ballgame? She is not in uncharted territory. She had one outing earlier this year where she threw 147 pitches. So they're riding their star. The Conference USA Pitcher of the Year, McKenna Moore, comes out again here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And look at Michaelin Kaiser staying in this ballgame, still looking at that right hand after taking a foul tip off that right hand. And that's what this time of year is about, Rain Wilson. It's about gutting through the adversity.
Yeah, and for the senior Kaiser, I mean, this could very well be your last weekend of softball and in a long career.
CeCe Humphreys leading it off for UCF. 1 for 3 in the game. Team best 56 runs batted in. This is a very good offense. Jack State a very good offense, but runs coming at a premium today. What's going to be the difference?
I think right now, to me, it's the arms in the circle.
Lifted, foul ground, long run. Elrod will not get there.
You know, we know McKenna Moore has an engine, obviously, and that 147 inning or pitches game was in February, so she's built on that engine. But on the other side of things for UCF, they just brought in their ace not a long time ago. And so when you look at who has the advantage here and UCF being more home run threat team, I think advantage goes to the Knights.
Slow ground ball to short. They got to hurry. Safe. Humphreys is aboard. Game-winning run is on.
And these are the tools that are the intangibles and why CeCe Humphreys has impacted this program so much. I mean, gets fooled on a pitch, battles, and then uses the wheels. And on the other side of things, Aria Davis playing a little too deep for a slow ground ball and a chance to get Humphreys, but sometimes you get a line drive right at somebody and it's not a hit.
She's going to try to steal the throw. Got her.
Wow.
What a tag by Davis. Got Humphreys on the backside. She is out. How about Kaiser staying in this ball game? And now it looks like Cindy Ball Malone wants to challenge, and they will look at it again. But Kaiser, with a sore arm, throws a dart down to second for what looks like the first out.
As we see CeCe Humphreys. Ooh.
Now, did the tag get her? From our angle up here, it looked like it got her. Now, the other angle's hard to tell. And
because the call in the field was out, that that changes this because it has to be indisputable. And the umpiring crew, I think Coach Bear is going to ask, hey, can this be an umpire-initiated challenge? So she doesn't have to use her one challenge that she lost. She lost one, they have two total, lost one, now has one. So asking if it can be umpire-initiated is my guess of what happened. But knew they were going to challenge Kaiser, right? Coming out of the field, shaking her hand. Maybe she has a broken bone, just fighting through it. Throws a dart. I don't know if Aria Davis tagged her, though, based on the reaction. Couldn't really tell, but we'll get some clarification.
Ruling on the field is that the runner left first base on time at the release of the pitch. Jacksonville State is challenging the ruling on the field. The play is under further review.
Okay, so it's not the tag, it's leaving first base early.
Well, if she's out, I mean, I wonder if the call on the field is that she is out already, then it's a delayed dead ball. So if she left early, it's a delayed dead ball. The opportunity to choose if you want the outcome or you want the out goes to Jack State. So I wonder if they are going to challenge that anyway as we take a look at that piece of this play. And, ooh, that's tight.
I'm not so sure about the tag now either.
It's close. Foot's off there. I mean, that's as close as it can get on a leaving early.
I just don't know if there's enough evidence.
Yeah.
I think the call's going to have to stand.
And either way, I mean, is there enough evidence that she left early? I don't know. And is there enough evidence that she was tagged? Not sure.
My goodness, Michaela Kaiser, after taking that foul ball off the hand.
Yeah, I know. That's a great point, Clay. We've kind of brushed over that. I mean, darted a ball down to second base again. Talk about the toughness. My goodness.
So Humphrey singled on the infield to start the inning, took off trying to steal against Kaiser, who had that foul ball off the hand, testing her. And boy, did Kaiser pass the test. It appears right now that she is going to have the first out of the inning with a caught stealing. Let's see if this is confirmed.
After review, the call on the field stands. The order was did not revoke the
So the call is safe at second base.
Yeah,
I think what he meant is overturned, correct? Because he was.
Okay, so they changed the call from out to safe after an umpire's conference, and then they challenged that call.
I see.
To see if she left early.
Huge shift in this inning as Griffin sends it to center. Tagging is Humphreys, and she'll get to third.
CeCe Humphreys again using the wheels, taking advantage of the extra 60 feet. I don't think a perfect throw gets her there, but gosh, what a weird sequence. I think ultimately it's the right call. I think she was safe at second base.
And now Coco Jaimes could end it with a base hit. Jaimes has 2 hits in this ballgame. Both teams undefeated in extra innings this year. Ground ball, base hit. The Knights are going to walk it off. Third hit for Coco Jaimes. An RBI single in the 8th. And UCF will take on Stetson in the winner's bracket tomorrow. after a 2-1 extra inning win.
Down to their last out. McKenna Moore, the freshman for Jack State, rolling, but it was the resilience, the battle from this UCF Knights team. And ultimately, Coco Jaimes, 3 for 4 day. McKenna Moore, the freshman, left it all out in the circle. But it is the Knights who will advance to play Stetson tomorrow.
A game-winning hit for Jaimes. Her 17th run batted in this year, and it's the biggest one of her season, no doubt, as the Knights come back. Trailed for 6 2/3 innings today.
Just remarkable. And you could feel the pressure that UCF was putting. Nothing really came out of it. And then, 130 plus pitches later, I don't think McKenna Moore lost steam, but this Knights offense battled, adjusted, used the wheels, used the athleticism, and bounced back. What a job.
There's that resilience, there's that toughness, all that extra work in the fall, that hard work in the fall paying off. This is a gritty bunch. Coach Bear loving the comeback win today that puts UCF in the winner's bracket game at noon Eastern tomorrow. And now Jack State, really tough elimination game against the number 9 national seed Florida State. This is a hard loss to bounce back from.
It certainly is. And on the other side, UCF gets this pump of momentum. Jack State now has to rebound. 130 pitches for their ace. Who do they throw tomorrow? Likely the senior Jalea Holmes, but a tall task against the Florida State Seminoles.
McKenna Moore, what a tough defeat to take. What a star performance for the Jack State right-hander, but she's the losing pitcher. The winning team, the UCF Knights, and the victor in the circle be Isa Vega. 2-1 the final in extras. What a game. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow in Tallahassee. For Rain Wilson, I'm Clay Matvick. So long from the capital city of Florida.